and welcome to your beginner's stretching routine. So it is known that most people do miss out stretching from their lifestyle, and we forget how important a simple stretch can actually be. So things obviously like improving your posture, looking after your back, improving the blood circulation around the body, simple things like allowing you to move better in general everyday life. How many people can't bend down to tie up their shoelace or can't twist around to get something in the back of the car? Like little things. You don't realize that stretching can actually change your lifestyle just by adding a little bit in every day. Maybe not every day, even every other day. Okay. So this video is a really short video. It's designed for beginners. So if you're not stretching at the moment regularly, or even if you just need to get back into it, if you've had an injury recently, if your back's been flaring up, great little gentle stretching video so that we can get you moving. There is nothing wrong with doing this video every day if you want to. The only time I would suggest that you stop is if you experience pain, okay? As you can see, I'm going to start sitting on a chair. So if you have a chair at home, it could be a sofa, it could be the end of your bed, anything like that. And we're simply going to take a seat, okay? I'm going to invite you to take your arms overhead. So reach all the way up to the ceiling. Now, as you do that, I want you to think about your back. So try to lengthen the spine. How often is your back curved over at the moment? So can you get a complete straight spine with your arms in line with your ears, your shoulders over your hips? So we're going for a gorgeous straight back, okay? Take a breath throughout all of these stretches. It's very important to work with your breath. Breathing in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth. Okay, now take a gentle twist. Take your left hand to the back of your chair or to the bottom area behind you. Pop your right hand on the outside of your thigh and simply use that left hand to press around and gently to look over your left shoulder. So we're taking a twist here, great for the back, our twists. We're simply using the pressure of the hands on the prop to gradually make our way around a little bit further. Still thinking about that length through the spine. Try not to curve through that lower back. And you're taking the head with you so that you complete that spinal twist. You get the neck and the spine all in one long line, gradually lifting a little bit taller and twisting a bit further. Let's go the other way. So slowly take your right hand behind you to the back of the chair if you're using one, or just to the ground by your bottom, and then press around. Left hand's on the outside of the right thigh, and we're twisting tall. Really try to lift and lengthen. You don't want to have a curve in your lower back. Maybe bring your bottom closer towards the front of the seat. That might help you. Just lifts the tailbone slightly so we can really focus on that lengthened spine. Remember the breath I was talking to you about. We're breathing in through the nose and we're breathing out through the mouth here, okay? One last breath. Let's pause here. Then we'll come back through to center. Now take those arms back over the head. Lengthen and reach up and out of the hips. See if you can press the chest forward slightly. Now bring the hands down. Just gently rest them onto your thighs. Shoulder shrugs. Inhale, lift the shoulders up as high as you can towards the ears and breathe out as you let them drop. Okay, and again, so you're going to inhale, lift the shoulders all the way up, create tension around the shoulders, the neck, and exhale as you drop. So it's like a big sigh. So you're taking a big breath out, letting all of that tension go. Because having tension and stress in the body does not help, okay? It allows the muscles to spasm, to get shorter, and that pulls and puts pressure on the joints and the skeletal system. So that's going to cause you issues through your joints, okay? One last time here. Inhale, reach really toward those shoulders, and exhale, allow them to drop. Coming into a little self-massage, shoulder rolls now. So you're bringing the shoulders up towards the ears, exhaling, sliding them down the back and opening out through the front body. So again, this is great for the posture. If you're working at a desk quite a lot, if you drive a car, if you're just find that you generally have a rounded posture with your shoulders dropping forwards, it's really important to actually take time to open out through the chest, to unravel, to slide the shoulders down the back. Let's slide the shoulders down, leave them there. Bring it into the neck. Ear comes to the shoulder. We're going to roll the chin heavy across the chest, take a semicircle, and then pause as the ear comes to the other side. Let's do that again. So we're rolling the chin across the chest, and then gently bringing the ear to pause at the shoulder. Now, same thing I've mentioned earlier. Try to keep that back straight. So we are isolating into the neck, trying not to curve the back forwards, trying not to drop the chest. We're simply rolling through the head, coming into the neck. If you find this quite nice, if you're feeling this is a great benefit here in the upper back, maybe you need to try the stretching for migraines, which really focuses on the neck, the shoulders, and the upper back, okay? Let's pause in center. Allow the head to come back to neutral alignment. Taking your left arm now, we're going to bring that left arm across the body. Now, I invite you to put your forearms together to make a little cross and then pull that left arm further around without twisting your chest. You see my chest and my hips are still square to you. Drop that left shoulder down and then turn your head to look at your left hand. So this is a great stretch around the shoulder, the arm, into the neck as well here. And we're still trying to keep that spine long and lifted, okay? We're going to come back through center, release the cross. Now take that left arm up to the ceiling. So create space, lift up and out of the hips, drop the left arm to touch your shoulder blades. So you're trying to bring your left arm to touch the shoulder blades and bring the left elbow in towards the head. Taking your right arm, pop it on top of your elbow and then push backwards. Try and take your left hand further down your back. Now you can see my left forearm is still touching my head. It's making contact with my head. Don't take it out to the side because that's going to take a completely different aspect, okay? We want to glue that elbow towards the head. So we're stretching out through the front of that arm. Okay, keep that spine lovely and lifted. Your eye line should be looking forwards towards the camera, towards me, okay? Let's ease off, okay? Give it a bit of a shimmy, a bit of a shake. Let's do the other side, okay? So your right hand now is going to come across the body. We're going to hook those forearms together. Remember to pull that right arm gently across. Drop the right shoulder down, turning the head to look towards the right hand. Lift up and out of the hips, lengthen the spine, and use the breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Okay, and acknowledge how this feels on both sides of the body. Does one side feel tighter than the other? Are you feeling a bit more uncomfortable on one side than the other? Or maybe your range of movement is smaller. So we all have different sides of the body. One side you might be carrying an injury on, or it might be overuse. But it's really important to do both sides evenly, okay? Let's ease off. Take that right arm all the way up. Now we drop the right hand down the back. Bring the elbow towards the head, remember. Now take your left hand onto the right elbow and press that right hand down your back. Remember, if you're here, lift up. Hips come forwards, chest opens, and you're trying to lengthen, create space through the spine. We put a lot of pressure on our joints by collapsing our body down, by not having much movement available. So it's really important to unravel, to lengthen, so you've got that space available to you, okay? And then slowly let's ease off. Give it a little shimmy shake. Let's come into some legs, okay? I invite you to hug your right knee in towards your chest. So I've interlaced my hands around my shin, pulling up that leg and bringing the right leg in towards your chest as much as you can. Don't try to compensate and drop your chest forwards. It is very important to remember the leg is coming to the body. The spine is still staying as straight as possible, okay? Now we're going to extend that right leg. So you're going to straighten that right leg out, hinge from the hips. So that means I lift the tailbone up towards the ceiling and I'm bringing my body down in the direction of the legs now. The right leg is staying straight, okay? So the hamstring is stretching down the back of the right leg. Left leg is bent. You're not pressing. We're not locking out this knee. Keep the right knee quite soft and use that breath. So we're starting to go into some lower body as well. Now, you might find that you're tighter in the lower body or tighter in the upper body. Everyone has different areas, okay? So just remember, it's still just as important. If you think my legs are tighter, I really need to focus on my legs, don't forget to focus on your upper body as well, because otherwise you'll start to have issues there. So whole body stretches are very important. Let's come back and take it the other side. So left knee comes in towards you. Roll the shoulders down the back. Think about your shoulder blades in the upper back. Try and bring them towards one another so you're opening through the chest, okay? Lengthening through the spine. Using your breath if this feels uncomfortable. If there's any pain, please stop. Okay, taking that left leg out in front of you, keeping it straight, hinging forward. So think about your coccyx, which is at the top of your bottom. You want to hinge forwards and lift that coccyx up towards the ceiling. Don't lock out that left knee. Keep it slightly soft and visualize the muscles down the back of the left leg lengthening here as you're breathing out, giving them time. For a stretch, try not to come out of it and back into it. That's a different style of stretching. We are focusing on some static and dynamic stretching today, but that doesn't mean that we come in and out of a stretch, because otherwise you just have to start again for this style today, okay? Let's peel ourselves all the way up. We're going to gently take your time to stand up, and we're going to move our prop over now. We don't need that anymore. So we're going to come to a standing posture. Feet hip distance apart, knees soft. And I invite you, don't feel silly, to simply wiggle your hips. So when you've been seated, same as when you get up first thing in the morning, the body's a little bit stiff, a little bit tight. So we need to mobilize. That means we need to move our joints. So I'm simply swaying the hips side to side. Then I'm going to start to take a hip circle. Don't worry if you feel silly. No one can see you. You're at home. It's perfect. But it will feel really nice on your lower back into your hips, okay? So I'm simply circling through my hip joints one way, then the other to increase that blood flow around your joints. You have something called synovial fluid, and we want to warm up that fluid to lubricate the joints as well today, okay? Now, let the hips just soften. We're going to leave the legs there. Take a few shoulder circles. So I'm going to inhale, bring in the arms forwards, and then exhale as we take the arms back. So this is that lengthened spine we were talking about. You want to reach up and out of the hips and then squeeze those shoulder blades together as you open through the chest to get that posture open. We don't want to be rounded. We want to have an open posture. It's better for your breath. It makes your breath easier because your chest is not compressed. Your lungs are not being pressed down, okay, by incorrect posture. Let the arms simply relax. If you need to hold on to something, please do. We're going to take a few leg swings. Sounds silly, but I just invite you not to place it, but to swing your leg forward and back. Doesn't matter how high it comes. It doesn't matter if it's bent or if it's straight. I'm holding on to something so I can not worry about my balance. I'm simply focusing on the mobility through this leg. And we're simply, again, getting that movement. We're not being stale and stagnant. We're getting lots of energy moving through our body. Okay, let's try the other side. So that's another thing about stretching. Is simply adding movement into your day might completely change your layout of your day. So maybe at afternoon time, you're feeling a bit sluggish. You're thinking, oh no, maybe I'll have a cup of tea. Or maybe I'll try a quick stretch just to get my body moving, to get that blood moving around the body, to increase my energy, and then your afternoon will be a lot more productive, believe me, okay? And these videos are really short, probably the same amount of time it would take to make and drink a cup of tea. So once you've had a swing, let those legs settle here. We're coming back to our feet hip distance apart. We're going to take that big stretch again. Lift the arms all the way up. Can you take a full body stretch here, creating space? Now we're going to roll down. So I invite you to take your arms forwards, bring your chin to your chest and roll yourself down. Now I want you to hang. Don't think about touching your toes, touching your legs. Chin comes to the chest. Arms are hanging, knees are slightly bent. That coccyx again is tilting up. And you're going to go to wherever you go to. So naturally, I would come down to about here. That does not mean you are going to. I want you to dangle. Wherever you dangle, simply dangle. Let the head go, the shoulders, maybe give them a roll. Making sure the knees are slightly bent. The weight should be in your toes, not in your heels. And really breathe out here, because if you're tight through the hamstrings or the lower back, this could be a little bit of discomfort for you as we first come into this pose. But believe me, try to pause there. Try to let the body find its way, find its comfort. So your knees could be fully bent. You could simply be here, up here. And this is great. Just pausing here, okay? Just pausing here. Letting the body open through the backs of the legs, into the lower back, into the upper. And then only in your own time, bend your knees all the way. We're going to make our way down onto our hands and knees. Now, if you have any problems with your knees, know that you could roll up a blanket and kneel on a blanket. You could roll up your mat a little bit more. You could kneel on a cushion, anything like that, okay? I invite you to rock your hips side to side. And again, that's that gentle movement I've mentioned. We're just bringing movement into the body. This is a great one if you're suffering with any lower back pain. If you are suffering with the lower back, remember to have a look at the stretching for back pain video. That will be a great one for you to do, okay? Let's come into cat and cow. So that means that we pause in center. Now we do cat and cow a lot, okay? We don't change into the arms or the legs. I'm not transferring the weight forward or back. I'm simply tilting my pelvis. So I'm dropping my belly down to the floor as I take my head and my bottom up to the ceiling. Now to reverse into a cat stretch, you make an angry cat pose. You push your spine up towards the ceiling, push your hands into the floor, scoop your belly towards your back and drop your chin to your chest. This is your angry cat. Looks like a bridge pose, but you see my legs and my arms haven't necessarily changed. I then move again through the spine. I drop the belly down. My bottom lifts up as I open through the chest and I look forwards. And then we go the other way. So you bring your chin to your chest, press away from the floor and curve the back. Let's do that one more time. So belly comes down, bottom and head lifts up. We arch and then we reverse into our angry cat, chin to the chest, round the back. And now you're going to come off of the hands, simply onto the knees and step your right leg forwards. Okay, so your right leg's going to come forwards. Both hands are going to rest onto the right thigh. I want you to think about pressing your left hip to face the top of your mat. One thing very important to remember, this right foot should be further forwards than your knee. I do not want to see this angle. The knee hurts, okay? Use something to hold on to get that foot physically forwards so that the toes are in front of the knees, okay? Hands onto the thigh and you kind of push away from the thigh. So I'm pressing my hands into that leg and pushing my chest away from the right knee. Okay, so we're trying to open through the chest. Shoulders are rolling down the back where we've already placed them when we were seated earlier. If you're feeling really wobbly, take your feet wider towards the outer edges of the mat. So make your train tracks, your base, wider, and then you won't feel as wobbly. Okay, let's pause here for one more breath if we can. Slowly exhaling and then easing off. So you could bring your hands down or you could hold onto a unit or something to simply change sides. Okay, so we'd press the left foot forwards. Remember the angle of this knee is very important and you want this right knee further back so you can push that right hip forwards. Hands come onto the left thigh and we press away from that left thigh. We're really trying to open through our posture, but go for a deeper stretch. This is for your hip flexors, for your hips, okay? A lot of people get tight hips. This is very common, okay? If you suffer with sciatica, with lower back pain, could generally be due to you having the fact that you've got tight hips. Check out the video stretching for sciatica. It could be the hips, the glutes. This whole lower body carries a lot of tension and it's very important to release that, okay? So if this one is feeling a bit uncomfortable for you, that may be the area we need to work on. Okay, let's ease off. Now we're going to come down onto our front. So I'm going to invite you to come down and lay on your belly. This is the great perk of pre-recorded. If it takes you longer to get down here, then pause the video, doesn't matter. We're going to come into a Sphinx pose. So your elbows come underneath the shoulders. Elbows are underneath your shoulders. Your forearms are down on the floor and they're parallel. Eye line is looking forwards. Now, have a look at this difference. This is incorrect. This is me slumping, collapsing into my shoulders. This is where we press away from the forearms. There is no pressure on my shoulders now. I am using my muscular strength around my back, my shoulders, my chest to keep me lifted. Now, this is a great one for your posture. So you might find that you can feel this strengthening down the back chain of the body, so the posterior chain, and which is very important to obviously build strength through the back to help with our posture. So lifting a little bit taller here. Working with the breath as you open through the chest. We try to pause here so we really remember in our minds how this posture feels. Try to get our brain working with this posture. And then what happens is that you won't just do it on the mat, you will take it into everyday life. So I don't walk around thinking, oh, shoulders down, squeeze shoulder blades together, work on posture. It naturally happens. So what I'm saying to you is if you did this video every day, you would find that naturally in everyday life, your posture would become better. It would have that memory of where it is supposed to be and the muscles would engage and then you wouldn't have to keep thinking about it. Okay, let's come down onto our sides. Rolling over onto your left side. I'm going to come onto my left side so you can see. Resting your head down. We're going to bend the right leg. Now, I'm going to ask you to try and hold your right foot with your right hand. So we're doing a side lying quad stretch here. Now, you can see my right heel's coming towards my bottom. I've got the thighs together. So try and keep your thighs together. If you're feeling really wobbly, take your left foot further forwards, okay? Now, we're going to roll the right shoulder blade back, squeeze the bottom, press the hips forwards, and take a breath here. This is a great way to stretch out through the front of the right thigh into the hip flexor. Again, this is another area that gets very tight where we're sat down. You think of the angle of this part of the body is generally quite shortened from sitting in a car, sitting at a desk, sitting when you're going out for dinner, all of the angles, sitting on the sofa, the hip flexor gets shortened. So it's very important to lengthen that hip flexor out. Let's take our time to roll over onto the other side. Okay, so you're going to make your way rolling over onto your right sides now, bending your left leg and bringing that heel towards the bottom. And then pressing the chest forward. So you're trying to keep the knees together, squeeze the bottom, press the hips forward, and roll your left shoulder blade back, okay? So opening out through the entire front body, chest, hip flexors, fronts of the thighs. So we're really trying to focus on a whole body quick stretch just to get us back in the game, okay? Let's ease off. Bend both knees. Use your top hand. Bring yourself up to any seated posture. I'm going to come onto the bottom simply with my legs bent, okay? Knees parallel. And we are going to do one last full body stretch. So you inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Find that lengthened, lifted spine. And breathe out through the mouth as you bring the arms down. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me on this beginner's stretching sequence today. Any questions? If you need any guidance on where to go next, message me. If you've got any problematic areas that you want me to specifically focus on, if I haven't done a video already, I will of course record one for you. I would like you to keep smiling, keep stretching, and have a great rest of your day.